Hi, this is TJR, and this video segment is being simulcasted on both my YouTube channel and also the YouTube channel for Music Worth Buying in celebration of Record Store Day. Be sure to support your local record stores on Record Store Day, April 22nd, 2017. Hi, this is TJR, and I'm here with
Robert Kinsler.
And we're here today with Mike Lefebvre,
the owner of Pepperland Music.
Pepperland Music, yes. And this is your store here. I mean, first of all, we're here for Record Store Day. We're here to talk about the importance of Record Store Day. But your store has been here for 35 years in Southern California, if I'm not mistaken.
Between 4 locations. This has been our location since 1996.
But you have been here for 35 years.
Because that's when Pepperland Music opened, was in 1982, right?
1982 this month.
Right. Wow, amazing. So 35 years. That's impressive.
That's right, and I was 2 years old.
Wow, that's about right. So was I.
And I want to just kind of stress this to anybody watching right now. 35 years. Think about this. Tower Records is gone. Music Plus is gone. You know, I remember Sammy Hagar saying, you know, when the last Van Halen came out, he said, "I'll be the first in line to buy a record at the record store, provided I can find a record store to go buy it."
Yeah.
And, you know, you are here, and I think that's just an amazing accomplishment.
Well, thank you.
That you're here, yeah. And so, but we're here to talk about Record Store Day, which will be next week. And as we shoot this right now, it's a week before Record Store Day, and that's going to be April 27th.
No, April 22nd.
April 22nd, excuse me, thank you. And of course, this is going to be all around the country. And but let's go ahead. Let's just talk about Record Store Day. Robert, why don't you go ahead and just kick this off and
then we'll talk to Mike specifically about what's going on here at Pepperland Music.
Yeah,
but this is the 10th anniversary of Record Store Day, and it basically was established, and Mike can fill in the blanks here too, to kind of celebrate record stores and independent record stores and their role in promoting great music and kind of a culture where people care about music and care about albums. And I think it's really been successful because the great artists have got behind it. There's so many, you know, we're talking about Elton John, David Bowie, Rush, you know, newcomers like the Shelters, you know, and all these artists have got behind, and they've issued special edition releases that are only available. They're released on Record Store Day in very limited quantities, and so you have to show up at a record store, and maybe they have the release you want to get, maybe they don't, but there's a good chance you're going to get a treasure that you really want to have and add to your collection. And you know, and I don't know what else you want to add about it, but I think it's just how great has it been for record stores?
It's been pretty good. It started, I believe, about 10 years ago, and I think the people that started it were actually owners of an independent music store. And the whole idea was to kind of get something going for the indies, as opposed to the change, which, as you mentioned, disappeared. And kind of ironically, in our front window, on the inside, we have bags of Tower Records hanging up, Warehouse, Music Plus, just to kind of mention what you guys just did in regards to many of the chains went, and they're no longer with us. So it's kind of a memory up there that, and it's nice that we're still here.
Yeah.
Though I do want to retire.
Okay.
It's time, 35 years.
But on your timeline, not where you're forced out.
Yeah, I live out of state, so it's like my family's there, and I have to kind of, instead of going back and forth all the time, I like to just stay permanently there. So, you know, that's why I have the store listed for sale, and I'm just hoping that I can get back there soon. Well, I love music.
Yeah, no, oh, you definitely do, and I know you've turned many people onto music, not only through the albums and CDs, but also, and we're going to be showing that on screen while we talk, but you have so many musical instruments here, and I think your store offers lessons. It's just a great community where people can really be immersed in music.
Well, you have to diversify, and I think that's one thing I remember at the last minute some of the chains doing. Like they were carrying some very strange product at the end, toys, you name it, whatever they could probably try to fit into the mix. But the sad thing is, it just didn't take off, and I think that was the reason that some of the independent stores are still around, because they knew what the public wanted. And so you have to make sure you carry that, because if you don't, then what's going to happen is people are going to just stop coming.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad you've been successful. And I actually brought as if there's not enough great stuff in your store, but on Record Store on April 22nd, not only can people come and get some of these limited editions, these deluxe editions, but actually if they come at 9 in the morning, Michael Ubaldini is going to be performing and selling his new album.
You want to hear a funny story about that?
Yeah, I'd love to.
He told me that 35 years ago, we were the first store to carry his Earwigs, which was his old band.
Yeah, it was like a punk band that he was in. Yeah.
Well, some kind of band.
Yeah.
We carried a single, and so that was kind of a neat story. And we had people come in with singles that they would leave off because they were cheaper to press than, the large size records. And I remember this local group came in and they left off a single. And years later, after our fourth move, I found the singles under the bin that didn't sell, and it was a group called No Doubts.
Wow.
Yeah, so you never know what you find.
Yeah, you don't. And Michael truly is. I mean, TJR and I are two of his biggest fans. He's just such an amazing singer-songwriter. Yeah, and you too, Mike. Really I mean, he's that good, and I know Mike Bowman, the LA Times, compared him and said his songwriting rivaled Bruce Springsteen. You can come here to Pepperland Music in the morning while you're shopping and check out Michael on the stage where we're shooting this now, performing a very intimate set. And then and then icing on the cake at noon, right? You're going to have Lawrence Juber, who was the last lead guitarist for Paul McCartney in Wings, and since he left Wings in the early '80s, he's become known as pretty much the preeminent fingerstyle guitarist on the planet, and he's issued more than a dozen great solo albums, and just fantastic. And his new one, appropriate to this store, is called LJ Can't Stop Playing the Beatles, and it's instrumental versions of Beatles songs.
And I believe it's his third volume in the series.
Of Beatles material, yeah. And I guess his wife is very supportive and has said, hey, you got to keep doing these. And Lawrence is a great guy, and I imagine...
She actually produced it, and I guess we could show the camera. Yeah. This is Hope right there. And
we'll even hold it a little bit closer to the camera. There we go. Yeah.
And Hope is actually Hope Schwartz. That's her maiden name, and her dad was Sherwood Schwartz, who created a couple of hit TV shows and wrote the theme music for Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
So
oh, wow.
Also played Greg Brady's girlfriend, I think, in one of the episodes.
Wow.
So hopefully she'll be down too.
Yeah, and both artists will be not only performing on the stage, but they'll be signing their new releases, so you can pick these up here at Pepperland Music. And then you can see the artists behind these great releases too. So there's really a lot of great reasons to come out and celebrate Record Store Day here.
Yeah. And it's a great way. I mean, there's some fantastic releases, and we never know what we're going to get. So I know we have people phoning us all the time, asking us. We don't know until we get them a day before. So we price them, put them out, and then everybody lines up, comes in, and they hit all the other different stores to trying to get what they need, and there's some great releases this time around.
No, and I imagine many of them sell out. I can only imagine, because you open early that day, for one thing, because Michael's going to be performing and people want to come in and get the product. I mean, is it literally like, I mean, some of the releases, are they gone in minutes, so people need to come early?
A lot of times they are, yeah. And there's really no limit to what you can take, so some people will want to buy a bunch. So we try to keep them way in the front of the store, like a lot of other shops, so you can just pick them up very quickly and get to the register and then buy them and then look around again and make that pilgrimage as to a lot of the other independent stores too.
Great.
And this is true of all the record stores. None of them really know what they're going to get until they get it. And so no one knows until you walk into that store. It is kind of like an Easter egg hunt to a certain extent.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you just kind of come in and see what you find. And of course, now on your blog, on the Music Worth Buying blog, Rock and Roll Truth, you've listed a number of some of the major releases that are going to be coming out. That fans can look for. There's going to be releases, I think, from David Bowie, Elton John, Stevie Nicks. And feel free
Fleetwood Mac.
Feel free to,
and then the new bands like the Shelters. I know they have a special edition release. I mean, The Cure. I mean, there's so many bands across the spectrum, no matter what your taste is.
Well, they just added one more. They added the Beatles' Penny Lane, Strawberry Fields Forever with a picture sleeve.
Wow. See, I hadn't even heard of this. So you're hearing it from the source here. So, and hopefully that release will get here to Pepperland. Again, none of us know that, but it makes sense. But it would make, exactly. But it'll be an exciting day to come out. And I know TJR will be here. I'll be out at Coachella, where I guess they even have a independent record store set up at Coachella. I'll be covering that this year, and I'll have my list of releases I want, so TJR can hopefully pick those up for me.
I intend to, because this is the only local record store that I can find here that I know of. I mean, otherwise I think I'm hauling out to Los Angeles to try to look for something. So yeah, there's definitely releases that I'm looking for, that I'm very excited about. Does anybody want to say what release they're most excited about while we're talking about
Well,
this?
that
Personally,
Beatles one you just mentioned, now that has...
You want the Beatles one?
Yeah, that's just risen to
Okay.
the top of my list now, I think.
I want that one from Elton John.
Yeah.
That's coming out. And anything just
I think
personally
there's a
that you're
couple
hoping you
David
can-
Bowies that
There
look
are.
pretty promising.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
You're
know
looking
one's
for
a
it.
live. I think one is a live release from the early '70s, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah, there's so many, and like I said, we'll try to show pictures of some of those on the screen if we can here, and also we'll link it to musicworthbuying.com where we have a full article, and I'll have to add the Beatles release on that article too as well. So that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Is any closing thoughts you have, Mike? I know we've been doing a lot of talking, and we feel very honored that you would join us on the show and let us
No, I
come
really
to your
appreciate.
store.
I welcome you anytime, and all I can say is, do support your independent stores, and they've always been the backbone from day one. If you remember, indies started up, then Sears, Pennies, everybody else, Monkey Words we used to call it, Montgomery Words. I'm dating myself, only being 2 years old when I opened the store, remember. But, they do, from the very get-go, they were the independents. You remember Music City?
Yeah, I do remember Music
They used
City.
to have the booths you go into to listen to music. Now we just have a little dinky turntable hooked up to a receiver to do that. But yeah, it's kind of a throwback to the old days, and so with the resurgence of vinyl, I think it's a great thing happening, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. So I think overall people are going to really kind of come out and just really get into it, and there's a special record player that Crosley's putting out, which is a
Fantastic.
Star Wars theme.
Oh,
And
wow.
so hopefully
That's
we're
up your
going to
alley,
get some,
TJ.
and if we do, it's very attractive, and but again, it's just a small little old-fashioned, lid record player, but still for those Star Wars fans out there, you might want to check it out, and I believe we're getting some of those into.
Wow. One thing that we've talked about it on other episodes is that, when we were growing up, and all three of us actually, you would look forward to getting a new release. You'd get it, you'd open it up, you'd have this big, great artwork, and the vinyl record, you would hold it, and there was a deep connection to that. And I think that that's something that why the resurgence of vinyl is so natural to me, is that people that want to make that connection with music, beyond just going to see the artist that you like at a concert setting, you can make it at home, and sure, you can look at YouTube and this and that like what we do on this show, but I think there is something special about vinyl albums, and just that connection with the music.
Yeah, it goes beyond any kind of what you might say like practicality. There's just something, when you look at that big artwork, and when you put that vinyl down on the turntable, and you put the needle on there, and there's that moment there where you hear that little bit of noise as it lands, and you're told something's about to start here. Something important's about to happen. Music is going to begin now.
And hopefully not a skip.
Yeah,
Exactly.
spoken like a true retail champion there, so that's great. Well, I think we've kind of wrapped it up. I think now hopefully we got to have everyone very excited about Record Store Day too, because it's great that the 10th anniversary is here.
Oh, yeah.
I realize for all of you out there watching, because we know we have people who watch not only here in the United States but also outside of the U.S. I realize we're here at a local record store, and you're saying, well, I can't come to the store, but seek out your local record store. Seek them out, and hopefully we've gotten you interested in doing that. And anything else anyone wants
The
to
only
add?
thing I could add to that is go to the Record Store Day website. They're going to list all the participating stores, and so if there's one near you, come on in, and we'd love to have you down here too.
Yeah, take a flight from the UK and get over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's worth it. And Pepperland is right near Disney. For those of you who are like, oh, where are they? It's actually, we're only a few miles from Disneyland here, aren't we, in Orange County,
Yeah, we're
California?
about 7 miles or so,
Yeah.
so they're not that bad in California Adventure.
Yeah, so you're close to a beautiful
Which I had
beach.
to go
and-
to yesterday.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so there's all kinds of things. So you can make this a true destination,
Right.
So, great. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and have a great Record Store Day.
I want to thank you for joining us here today.
Well,
thank you so much for
very
coming.
much.
Thank you, Mike.
My
Yeah,
pleasure.
that's
Thank
great.
you.
Great. Thanks very much.
And everybody, thank you so much for watching. As always, please subscribe to the channel if this is your first time or if you haven't done it yet. And if you like these videos, please share them on your social media. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
See you later.